Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be giving my first impressions on the Etymotic ER4SEs. I said these were going to be my next IEMs, please focus, and they are. And what do I think of them? They're good, but there is a huge problem, and unfortunately that is comfort. I do not find these comfortable for my ears. I never realized how much of an essential thing this little ear hook is for keeping them in your ears, because basically the only way these stay in your ears is by like pushing them as far into your ears as possible, and that is still not super comfortable for me. And I know I literally said last video when I bought them, like before I received them today, that I said, oh, you don't have to push them that much further in than regular IEM, so what's the problem? And I never realized how wrong I was until I got them today, because as you can see, this little ear tip here is a lot smaller than, even regular size, like small ear tips or even extra small ones. So yeah, you have to really ram it into your ear as far as you can really go without like it hurting. Otherwise, you will not really get a good seal, and the bass will sound anemic and like anemic. Trust me, I know, like I know several times I try to put these in, and again, the bass just sounds anemic. Well, the problem with that is that my ears are kind of weird, and I'm pretty sure it has to do with a bunch of earwax buildup, but when I try to fully seal my ears, especially with the left one, with like my left ear, for some reason when I put them like fully into my ears, my left ear becomes extremely muffled. I've noticed this, unfortunately, when I've gone to sleep like on my side. When I woke up, my ear just sounds extremely muffled and I can barely hear anything. I have to loosen up my ear to get it to sound normal again. So again, I think that has to do with earwax buildup at the back of my ear, which is why I'm still getting my ear checked out. But still, again, that is another factor to why these things kind of suck, for me personally, for like comfort wise for me. Although I will say, I do like how easy it is to get these ear tips on and off. Like, they are so easy. All you have to do, you just have to pop it up a little bit, and then you just twist and like pull a little bit at the same time, and then boom, they come out in like a few seconds. Meanwhile, with a lot of IEMs, especially with like IEM like ear tips like in the box with like the Kiwi Ears Orchestra Lights, the ear tips on these were so finicky to get on for me, especially for someone who's not really used to getting like a bunch of ear tips like on a bunch of IEMs. Like, it is just so finicky. It really sucks. I took like 15 minutes alone to get the ear tips on like several times for these IEMs. Although you might be wondering, wait, why do you have different ear tips on the Keywords Orchestra Lights now? And that's because I'm using the same ear tips I've used on my Tangzu Waner SGs, just to see if maybe the ear tips, were the reason for why they actually sounded pretty balanced in terms of the actual channel balancing. Maybe the ear tips were the reason why they actually sounded relatively well channel balanced. And what do you know, I actually think that's true. These ear tips, maybe because they're larger and they just fit my ears a little bit differently than just small ear tips, actually sound a lot more like centered, especially vocals, as I said. And before you say, well, why didn't you just switch, the small ear tips with the medium ones that came with the orchestra lights? And I did that. Although with that, even then again, it didn't really fix the balancing issue, like the channel balancing issue. So I don't know if it's because it's a different material. Maybe these are like slightly bigger than the medium like sized ear tips. But again, these just sound like more channel balanced to me. And before you say, oh, it's because you're used to the sound signature now. No, I actually did an A/B test between the small ones and, these Tangzu Waner, just random ass ear tips I already had on my Tangzu Waners. And again, these sounded more well channel balanced. These just sounded better. So yeah, again, it might be because of the ear tips, and just my ears might be just sensitive to different kinds of ear tips, and they probably are. But either way, will I still be returning them? Like, I basically kind of fixed the channel balancing issues. So will I still be returning them? Probably, yeah. For one, it's because there's still too much bass. And I know you could say, oh, just tune it down in an EQ. Well, unfortunately, Mac EQs are kind of expensive. They're $40 for actual, like, fully functioning EQ, like the same ones you can find on Windows. Why is there no, like, readily available free EQ, like, for the Mac that can just work on every single app? And hell, why is there not like a sound system for each Mac like there is on for each, application like there is on Windows where you can set the volume for each like individual application? I don't know, man. That sucks. I still wish Apple would do that. And also provide a native EQ. Like, please. I know there's one on Apple Music, but that's not enough. Especially if you're people like mixing on like fucking DAWs. Like, a lot of people want EQ, especially again me, because my fucking ears like are stupidly sensitive to bass. And yeah, a problem with that is that with these larger ear tips, they allow like more bass to come in. So again, that's even more of a problem now, even though again, the balancing issue is now fixed. There's now way more bass. But another thing is just, I don't find them super exciting, especially in the, upper mid range. And I know you could say, oh, well, that's because they're balanced, and they do sound balanced. However, I kind of like a little bit of an excitement. I do like stupidly well balanced stuff as well. But for music, honestly, I feel like it's actually a little bit more balanced to go with a little bit more of like higher upper mids than what these are offering right now. Because again, they just sound a little bit dull and not like super kind of sparkly, like, again, like kind of upper mid range IEMs that I've used are kind of like. So again, I'm probably still going to be returning these two IEMs and just getting the Moondrop Blessing 3s. I know I said I was going to plan this out last video as well. I was going to do the exact same thing, but I'm just going to say flat out, I'm most definitely going to do that now. And yeah, especially now that I figured out that, again, there's not a balancing issue with the IEMs. It's just, again, I'm not a huge fan of the sound signature. Although, who knows? Maybe I'll warm up to it. Maybe I'll get an EQ for the Mac. Maybe I'll plug these in more and play with them around more in Windows and with the EQ for that. And maybe I'll keep them. Who knows? But I am like 100% sure I'm going to be returning these. Because again, they don't fit my ears well. I don't like just, again, like how far you have to push these into your ears, and I don't like how there's no way to actually secure them in your ears like regular IEMs, or you can hook them around your ears and they basically will not fall out, especially if you have a really good seal. With these, the only thing that's keeping them in is that good seal. There's not that extra like layer of things like keeping them in. So even if they fall out, they'll most likely still like stay by your ears at the very least, because again, it'll be hooked around your ear. With these, if they fall out, they fall out. They just go woo, and they just fall away from your ears. So again, I don't really like that. And also, this cable kind of sucks. It's kind of noisy, it's kind of thin, and this rubbery part is not great. So yeah, as much as I don't really like super heavy cables, I can always just get used to them. So yeah, and it's better than like noisy cables and just not really good feeling cables anyway. So yeah, that's basically it, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.